If the Ark of the Covenant once stood at the center of Israel's sacred world, why did history lose sight of it so completely? Its story begins not as a treasure legend, but as an object of covenant, ritual, fear, and divine presence. According to biblical tradition, the Ark was built in the wilderness, carried through danger, and guarded with extraordinary reverence. It was not meant to be displayed casually. It was hidden, veiled, and approached only under the strictest sacred order. The Ark's power and memory comes partly from what it contained: covenant, law, and the identity of a people. Over time, the portable sanctuary gave way to a permanent house of worship in Jerusalem. There, in the first temple attributed to Solomon, the Ark entered the most restricted space in the ancient city. The Holy of Holies was not a public hall. It was a chamber of silence, separation, and overwhelming meaning. To understand the mystery, we must first understand what kind of world could lose such an object. Jerusalem was not only a spiritual center, it was a political prize pressed between empires. Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, and later Rome all understood the value of controlling sacred cities. The Ark belonged to a world where religion, kingship, war, and national survival could not be separated. The biblical accounts describe the Ark as central to Israel's early sacred history, yet later references become strangely sparse. That silence is one reason the mystery survives. The most important object becomes the least visible. By the late 7th and early 6th centuries BCE, Jerusalem stood in the path of Babylonian ambition. Nebuchadnezzar's empire did not merely conquer cities. It extracted wealth, symbols, and memory. When Jerusalem finally fell in 586 BCE, the first temple was destroyed and many sacred objects were taken or lost. But the Ark itself is not clearly listed among the captured treasures in the surviving biblical descriptions. That absence opened a door through which centuries of theories would later pass. Was the Ark carried away to Babylon, hidden under Jerusalem, destroyed in the burning, or moved before the final siege? No confirmed archaeological discovery has answered that question. The first theory is simple: the Ark may have been taken with other temple treasures. Empires often removed sacred objects to weaken conquered peoples and display victory. Yet if Babylon took the Ark, later records do not clearly identify it among the items returned or remembered. The second theory is more dramatic. Priests may have hidden the Ark before the temple fell. Jerusalem is a city of layers, tunnels, cisterns, chambers, and buried memories. Some traditions suggest sacred vessels were concealed in hidden places to protect them from invasion. The idea is powerful because the city itself feels built for secrets. But a compelling tradition is not the same as a verified location. The third path leads to Mount Nebo and the memory of Jeremiah. A later Jewish text tells of sacred objects hidden before exile, but historians treat such traditions with caution. That story gave the Ark a geography of disappearance. Not only Jerusalem, but wilderness, mountain, and sealed cave. The fourth tradition points much farther south, toward Ethiopia. Ethiopian Christian tradition holds that the Ark came to Aksum and remains under sacred guardianship. This belief is central to local sacred identity, but it has not been independently verified by public archaeological examination. The mystery survives because faith, history, and evidence do not always move along the same road. For some, the Ark is a lost historical artifact. For others, it is a sacred reality beyond ordinary access. The Golden Atlas follows the evidence carefully, without turning uncertainty into certainty. What can be said with confidence is that the Ark's disappearance changed the imagination of sacred history. When the Second Temple was built, the Holy of Holies no longer held the Ark in the same way tradition remembered. The most sacred room became powerful not because of what was seen, but because of what was missing. Absence itself became architecture. Over centuries, pilgrims, scholars, rulers, and storytellers filled that absence with possible destinations. Some imagined the Ark beneath the Temple Mount, sealed away in chambers no modern excavation can freely explore. Others believed it crossed deserts, rivers, and kingdoms before vanishing into guarded tradition. Others think the simplest answer may be the hardest to accept. It may have been destroyed. But destruction leaves traces, and certainty remains elusive. The Ark is not just missing from a map. It is missing from a chain of proof. That is why every claim must be weighed against what can actually be known. In historical storytelling, the strongest mystery is not the loudest claim. It is the question that survives scrutiny. And the Ark has survived scrutiny as a question for more than 2,000 years. Its image still carries gold, stone, law, exile, and longing. Its mystery still moves between Jerusalem, Babylon, Ethiopia, and the imagination of the world. But the real power of the story may not depend on finding the object. It may depend on understanding why people have searched for it for so long. The Ark represents a lost center, a place where divine promise, national memory, and sacred space once met. For ancient Israel, it was tied to covenant. For later generations, it became a symbol of what exile could not erase. For modern viewers, it remains a doorway into the ancient world's deepest questions. What is sacred when the object is gone? What remains when the chamber is empty? The Ark's mystery endures because it sits between evidence and longing. Every theory reveals not only where people think the Ark went, but what they believe history should preserve. A hidden chamber would mean protection. A foreign palace would mean conquest. A sacred chapel would mean survival. Destruction would mean loss, but not silence. Because even without the Ark, the question shaped centuries of faith, archaeology, literature, and pilgrimage. The Ark became more than an artifact. It became a test of how we listen to the past. Some mysteries are solved by digging. Others are preserved by the limits of what history allows us to touch. The Temple Mount remains one of the most sensitive sacred places on earth, where history, devotion, and politics converge. That sensitivity means the deepest questions cannot be treated like ordinary treasure hunting. To search responsibly is to admit the difference between possibility and proof. The Ark may be hidden, destroyed, carried away, or preserved only in tradition. Each answer changes the story. None has yet closed it. And that is why the Ark of the Covenant still feels less like a lost object than a sealed question. It stands at the edge of history, where documentation ends and memory keeps walking. Perhaps the final mystery is not only where the Ark went, but why its absence still feels so present. In the end, the lost Ark remains one of history's most powerful silences. And until evidence speaks clearly, the past will keep guarding its most sacred secret.